me attempt to recap for you as best as I can. Now, my time in this sport, right now, right as we speak, and 10 years into the future, is the same as 10 years ago, or at 17 years old, skipping class with my buddy Jeff Williams, renting a tape down at the video store that was called Ultimate Fighting Championships, going to his house and watching. I mean, not for nothing, but my spot and place in the sport is that of a fan. I will always be a fan. And there are people over time, and they're very few. They're very few, and it's very hard when you don't have an equal. But that's real. You must understand, I fought 11 world champions and beat 8 of them at 3 different weight classes. I had no remote equal at my weight class. I had not only never lost a fight, I never lost a round. I not only hadn't lost a round, if you got a stopwatch out and went over my career and you wouldn't have 1 complete minute. You would not have 1 complete minute of me losing. I had to leave the weight class and then leave another weight class. This is true. Right? I'm well aware that I have fun and I will embellish. I fought 11 world champions at 3 different weight classes, and I beat 8 of those sons of bitches, and none of the rest of the guys had the courage to even try it. So, when I do come across somebody that I will admire their career, it's hard to do. You try being undefeated at something and see how many guys that you admire, but I'm just sharing. I like Islam. I like the way Islam fights. I like the respect that Islam showed to his heir apparent, and most importantly, rest his soul, to his head coach, Nurmagomedov. I like that those guys are close. I like that they're friendly to each other, but I also like that Islam treats me with a certain esteem. It makes me feel good. But I've also earned it. And there's certain things within our sport that are universal. And having a respect for those that came before you happens to be part of that. Now, it's got to go both ways. But I'm sharing for you, it does bother me when somebody younger than me gets out of pocket. That's a personal thing. Somewhere this week, it was reported, and I saw it myself. Was it MMA Uncensored? It was somebody big. I saw it myself. And it was great. I mean, like, you know, you get the post, and then you get the guy that does the quotations, and then you get the guy that's really good, and he can put a face with the quotations, and then you get the guy that's really, really good, and he's got a whole bunch of Twitter followers, and he can put the face with the quotation, and then he'll put the little caption of a face of the person that he said the quote to. Well, that's what they had done, and it was me giving a quote to Daniel Cormier. And I was laying out a case for Islam being a coward, for some to interpret that Islam leaving 55 without fighting the guy that came after him, which is Ilia Topuria, made him a coward. And it even used the word cowardice. Now, I gotta tell you, I don't know if I've ever used the word cowardice. Ever. Not just discussing Islam. I don't know in my life if I've ever used the word cowardice. I had a great line in roughly 2010 about Anderson Silva and his rib. And I said his ribs got the same problem as the rest of his body. It's attached to him and it's inside of a coward. It was something along these lines. But it was 15 years ago. It was my own quote, and I don't quite have it right now. I would think that I could remember a quote, right? If I could produce the quote I just gave for you about Anderson Silva from 15 years ago, I would think that I have the kind of memory to produce a quote for you that I gave 2 days ago. I would believe that you could hold me to a standard as a guy that can quote himself from 15 years ago to be able to quote himself from 2 days ago. I don't think I called him a coward. I definitely don't use the word cowardice. I just don't use the word cowardice. It's too many syllables. I can't imagine describing Islam as a coward. I can't imagine describing a champion of the world who's ranked #1 pound for pound, according to me, which is actually a debate. Many say that it's Jon Jones, and I hit Islam in there, and then Topuria, of course, is doing a great job. And I'm just sharing for you. You got Volkanovski, and he was red hot for a while. I can't imagine that I would refer to Islam as a coward. But I was quoted. I was quoted by somebody in the media as having said that. Now, so what? Well, there was a little bit of a so what. I get a phone call from Ali. And I've been friends with Ali 20 years. He is not happy. And he said to me, my brother, I respect you. We are friends. But, and he begins to defend Islam and Islam's decision to go up to 170 pounds. And I don't argue with him. Now, I don't argue with him because I'm well aware of the decision. I'm well aware of what went into it. I'm well aware that Islam doesn't have a problem with Ilia Topuria. He's got a problem with 155 pounds. That's the problem. This isn't about champ. This is about I don't want to beat the scale anymore. That's the same thing that Ilia had. Ilia didn't have a problem with somebody at 145. He had a problem with beating the scale. I'm good with all of this. You must understand. There's no gripe. Well, until there is one. So, while I'm being misquoted, which is something you have to be used to. You got to be used to that in the sport, right? You kick a little gravel. This guy kicks a little gravel. Sometimes there's a misunderstanding, whatever. Well, here's what Islam says. Now, this is through Twitter. In Islam, give you another little fun fact, is the most followed MMA fighter in the world, more than Conor McGregor. There is nobody with an active license that has more of a social media following than Islam. All right. Unlicensed is Khabib. That is why Khabib holds the status of the most famous Muslim athlete in the world. But number 2 to him is Islam. So Islam says this. Chasing hype and money is not the same thing as chasing greatness. But average athlete who built his way to the top with cheap trash talk won't understand that. So please sit and watch how others doing it, Uncle Chael. #double champ. That's not very nice. That's not very nice right there. And the way I will respond to an active athlete, it is different. When I was an athlete, I would not respond to a coach. Coach is in a different category. Coach is on top. My coach or anyone else's coach, but they're off limits. Athlete to athlete is a different thing. And I had my own code. But within my code, I will make that walk on time every time, no matter the weight, no matter the rules, no matter the stakes, no matter the money, no matter the greatness, no matter whether there was a belt or there wasn't a belt. So when Islam is suggesting that I chased anything other than competitiveness, that's not true. But there was a time. There was a time when your abilities aren't as round as much as you still want to participate. And there's another way that you're going to fill that void and to fill up those arenas. That's an accurate assessment by him. This isn't the world's meanest thing that Islam said to me. But it wasn't nice. And I don't think I called him a coward. I'm 99% sure I didn't call him a coward. I am almost positive that I was misquoted. I'm pretty sure I didn't call him a coward. I don't think so. I might have. I don't think so. I don't think I called him a coward.